Day 60. Yesterday, I read 2 essays by Schopenhauer. The first was on philosophy and its method, and the second on logic and dialectic. I like his idea that philosophy is a battlefield where at any given moment can be only one philosopher. As he says, for just as there can be only one queen in a beehive, so can only one philosophy be the order of the day. If philosophy is all about pursuing wisdom and fighting for her undivided attention, how pitiful all those crowd pleasers might appear before her. I do everything for people. I am obsessed with my customers. I bring philosophy to practical life. Did you ask her whether or not she wants to be brought to the public? You are not teaching philosophy by masticating her offspring and explaining the meaning of the greatest books in your academic jargon. You are not giving a favor to any philosopher by summarizing his ideas and presenting them in a simplified form to your audience. It's not going to evoke the irresistible urge to solve the riddle of existence. So in this case, the mission is to defeat all philosophers of the day and revision all the past to figure out on our own who was who. Although thinking with a genuinely great mind strengthens our own, gives it regular exercise and puts it in the right frame, we must be very careful interpreting somebody else's thoughts, not to miss out what's going on in our own mental life. Now, let's talk about self-learning and meditate on gnotise-auton. Gnotise-auton, it's Greek phrase which means know yourself or learn yourself. Basically, gnosis means knowledge and or like learning. There was a sect of Gnostics in the early what in the beginning of Christian era, and auton, automat, like it's the word which means self. So auto, like now we have automobile, for example, or automatic. What does it mean? Auto, it's like it's self. So automobile means like mobile movement, auto, self, like self-movement. Automobile, if you translate it literally, it's going to be a self-moving vehicle. All right, self-learning. What is that? That's what I'm doing here for last decade. I'm learning myself, writing my personal history, writing daily these notes for more than 10 years. Well, actually, it's not true. I started writing daily in the end of 2011, and now it's the beginning of 2021. So it was less than 10 years. Though I started making these notes in 2008, but first 3 years it wasn't I wasn't thinking that I couldn't understand what I was doing for the first 3 years. Only at 2011 I realized what was going on. But anyway, so I'm learning myself. What does it mean literally? I'm trying to record and explain everything what's going on in my life. And by myself I don't mean exactly, this body. I mean everything what I experience. By self I mean experience, language, the whole universe. Basically, in Schopenhauerian terms, like all phenomena which appear in my consciousness is the self. Since I have no access to the outside world, I think no, it's gonna be too complicated. I don't want to talk about all the philosophical ideas. I just want to focus on learning the self and explain to you what does it mean and what I'm trying to do here and what I want you to do. Because, you may, if you really pay attention to my writings, my talks, you may see that there are lots of contradictions, that I often contradict myself. One day I say, a year ago I may say something which now I may reverse and talk about the same thing from a totally different side. And I may say that I want to, I do these videos for you. I do these videos to, to help you understand better, maybe philosophy, maybe thinking, maybe, something that I already understood. And on the other day, I'll tell you that no, I'm doing it just for myself because it helps me to understand what I'm doing. It helps me to improve my language. I doing it because it's like self-talk and it's so powerful. And you may see that, on YouTube, there are countless videos where people actually do something for other people. They don't do anything for themselves. They do it for other people, but they, attract attention. They earn money. They make their livings by just helping other people to understand something, giving them practical information, useful information. And it's not what I'm doing here. So I'm not trying to help people. I'm trying to help myself. So I'm trying to think for myself and show you how it works. And I think, and Schopenhauer has actually this essay, I guess it was in the essay Fragments for a History of Philosophy, or maybe it was in the essay on philosophy in the universities. But there was an idea that thinking for oneself and thinking for others, there's a difference. And if you think for others, it's actually not going to work. So you may think that you're doing something for others, and you may even, get your audience. You may be rewarded for that. But in the end, it doesn't help at all, because you think for others and you actually don't think. You can't. There's distinction between objective and subjective knowledge. So in objective knowledge, objective learning, it does not have any purpose. As soon as you make a purpose for philosophy, for example, or for learning, or for for thinking, it immediately becomes something else. So thinking itself, you learn something without any purpose, and then you may take something that you learn and apply it for a purpose, for any particular purpose. But it's not the point. So the point is that you learn something to, just to see, just to understand what you learn. It's hard, it's complicated. But anyway, so I'm trying to, let's get back to this idea that philosophy and learning, it's all about learning oneself. I would say now I feel kind of what's the feeling? I guess I need to dedicate more attention to studying different feelings which I have. Yeah, I want to help you to understand that what I'm doing and why I'm doing that. You may do the same. And my purpose here, why I publish these videos on YouTube, I want to show you that if you do the same thing, if you record yourself every day, if you talk to yourself, if you try to figure out what's going on in your life, you'll you'll have a chance to become a philosopher, and you'll understand better what you're doing. The problem here is that what I'm doing now, it's like I'm not trying to persuade you upload these videos on YouTube. You may do it for yourself, and I was doing it for many years in my native language, starting from 2013 and up to 2017 when I shifted to English and when I started publishing my videos on YouTube. I was doing it for myself. So I was doing it for 4 years, recording videos, writing journals, recording audio, journals, almost every day. And it was unbelievably powerful. It made me figure out not just who I was, but it made me grow. It made me, it helped. Like I'm speaking in a different language now because at some moment I realized that I already know everything about myself and there's nothing to read, and it's also, I am kind of yeah, I started studying a new language and now I can speak English, even though there are lots of mess in my head which must be cleared in the future. Yeah, it's like kind of intuitive learning. See, now I'm trying to speak about self-learning, and I see that I can't say anything meaningful. I can't develop any thought. It's not consistent. I'm trying to talk about self-learning, then I get aside and start talking about my own, achievements, describing my history, and I'm trying to persuade you to do something. Then I'm saying that I'm doing it only for myself and that there's no you, and it's kind of mess. It's like brainstorming, and that's exactly what it is. So I don't want to. Usually, what you may expect in this situation, that somebody who tries to speak about something, he can do that and he'll erase it and nobody is going to publish that. But in my case, I publish this in order to show you how it works. So it's like real thinking. So when you don't know exactly what you are doing, when you don't know what you're talking about, but then you start talking and you may see, and then only after I made a talk, after I watch it, I may ask, what exactly did I want to say? And this is self-learning, so you become vulnerable. You don't prepare for, you may prepare, you may write a paper, or you may think that you want to talk about one thing, but then you don't know how it's going to turn out. And you allow the reality, what's really going on, you allow it to happen. And then you see what has happened. And you may say, but it's meaningless. It's just nonsense. Right, it's kind of nonsense, but you make sense out of it. The point is that if you don't see it in your head, it's going on all the time. You are not aware of that, but in your head, when you are doing your daily job, when you are, going around, it's going on all the time in your head and you don't see it. And as soon as you start recording it in journals, in videos, in audio journals, you may actually see what's going on. And then use that means, this means self-learning. So you start, okay, now I see what's going on. Now let's try to structure it. Now let's try to give it a form. Instead of just having all these thoughts, disconnected thoughts in your head, you try to put them together, and that's exactly what's going on right now here. And it's not always gonna be, I felt shameful and embarrassed for more than 2 years when I started uploading English videos on YouTube. In 2017, I couldn't speak, and it was very hard for me to stand in front of the camera and talk for 5-10 minutes. I knew that I was saying like nonsense, but it helped me to learn. That's the idea. You will spend years before you'll figure out what you really want to talk about and how you want to talk about. And even after that, like even now, I still feel a sort of resistance, inner resistance, which I don't have time to continue. Okay, so I'll continue next time. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.